2020, 2021 with this one a little bit.
2020, 2021, that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
That's way in the future.
Karma. They did us like that. They did us like that.
My favorite was the audience were like, "Oh, wow, Karma. Ooh." I'm like, "Guys, come on."
All right, so let's talk.
It is Bulldog playing Karma though, which is
when we have Zeri comps, the main thing to focus on, because we've kind of boiled it down. Like we've had so much Zeri versus Lucian that you put the salt in the water,
hot
make it
air
boil faster,
now,
and like
actually, yeah,
it's all evaporated.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, the key thing is how many ways can Taeyun die in this game? And there's the Gale Force angle. There's the Azir who can Emperor's Divide him or push his supports away. There's Renekton dive on top. There's a sleep that he might get hit by, which leads to a combo when he blows up. There's a lot of ways to kill Taeyun in this game, but he's got a lot of protection. He's got the Lulu. He has, of course, the Karma, which can make him run really, really fast, and he's going to be shielded. He has, in some ways, a lot of protection with the top side of the map as well, but that's going to be execution-based, right? And Renekton getting on top of the Zeri, that's just the beginning of the end, right? If you get slept, not a whole lot you could do about that either. You only get one cleanse, as this is a really interesting drawing here.
Yeah, that's... I think they're referring to CV Max.
I would assume so.
I saw Max saying, yeah.
I think that when you look at what this comp brings to the table here, it's a pretty unusual approach, but it has worked before. You know, it's an old comp, but it's a good one, and
checks out.
It checks out. You know, for Dudu here, there's a lot of pressure. For Youngdae, there's a lot of pressure on peeling away from all the threats, keeping Taeyun alive, allowing him to carry the game.
Well, I'm very curious to see how Game 3 is going to go. Well, let's take a look. All right, here we are. Game 3.
Bulldog has laned very well in every game he's played so far this season, which is why I started off saying I'm ready to trust, right? Karma into Azir, a new test. Let's see how he does here. If he can minimize the Azir prio and end up trading well with his mantras. There's, you know, a bit of extra gank power here with this Wukong, obviously, if he can get a root off, but that's very difficult to do against the Azir with the range.
Yeah, he'll be using his Qs on the wave.
I think he'll be sitting back.
He'll be pressing Q, and then he's going to press RQ after that, generally. You can press it first, of course, if you'd like. Press your Inspire button when you're ready to soak some of the damage from the Azir. Then just, you're fine. You know, just wait until the team fights a little bit later on. You'll be good. He did go Scorch.
Scorch, yep. Airy. In terms of Taeyun here, he actually did go barrier. The lane matchup is so tricky that if you go cleanse here, it may save you, but it also may just mean that you die in the 2v2 to just Lucian damage. So
yeah,
it's one of those catch-22 problems you have as Zeri. And you're hoping that with the Lulu, with Wild Growth, and with Bulldog here able to shield you and speed you up, that maybe that'll be enough. And you're hoping that you don't get CC'd ever. Your positioning has to be so good that that's just not going to happen to you. There are a lot of ways it can happen, but you're just going to have to be perfect.
Yeah, I kind of like it in this scenario. A little bit less in the scenario that Paze was in against the Lissandra comp of T1. That, I think, definitely should have been a cleanse, and maybe you lose like 10 CS in the lane and you just deal with it. But in this scenario, I'm a fan. We'll have a lot of time to really break down how it does work out in this game.
Yeah, we will see if it works or not.
Oh, I got the root!
He did get the root.
Wow.
Level 3 advantage, gets the big Q, and then instantly loses all the health on the trade to the Azir range, but just a good start, good start. We saw Poolbay play the best Karma mid so far of the year, I think. Was very amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, guys, if you're watching now, we do have challengers for the LCK. That's on Mondays and Tuesdays, casted by all 4 of us. You and I, Wolf, and also the 2 spacers that were on the no carpet space place.
Wow.
Yeah.
The name just gets longer every time.
It's a really great place. And yeah, definitely check it out. All the up-and-comers that can be swapped into the LCK at any time. You could be ahead of the curve.
Yep.
And it's fun. We talked to chat there.
We do. We check it out. It's going to get really popular soon, so join as soon as possible so you get to be in the intimate chat part before it goes a mile a minute. Because it feels like it's already kind of getting closer to that. But yeah, check out Challengers.
Yeah.
We don't have soup yet, but we could.
I'm sure it could be arranged.
People are always asking about it, so I'm sure we can make it happen.
Definitely one of the core aspects of Challengers is the soup.
Certainly.
So we'll have to make that happen. Umpty does not get to flash root anyone in this game as he is playing Lilia. He did go for Moss Stomper.
Yeah. Okay, trade.
Gets the heal out of effort.
That's very good for Taeyun and Moham here. Gonna try to just grab a nice back timing here with this cannon wave.
They should not be allowed back.
And then just gonna use piercing for the wave. Will it still be a delay? That was very scary for a moment there. Almost felt like they wanted to bait it because they had heal barrier advantage. Doesn't end up being a fight or anything like that. Taeyun's gonna have to stick around though. Which means we see Moham heading mid, where Bulldog actually ended up getting second back here for his cooldown boots. See Karas picks up his control ward here. Nothing too huge going on in the mid lane. Bulldog's been playing it very well, but no massive advantages either side. As sometimes in a lot of matchups in the past when we have the Lilia would be invaded and pushed back by something like a Wukong in the early levels. Not to happen on this patch, in this case. Moham is putting Bulldog in danger.
So Moham used the heal, and Bulldog flashed. I think he would have survived with just the heal, but just playing it safe.
Yeah, it doesn't want to get flashed on by either Umpty or Karas in this case, I guess. Just wants to get ahead of the curve. But as a result, will not trade flashes. Will actually just waste his.
Could be Infernal now. Just a little bit of pry out from mid. And the bottom side, of course, having Lucian Nami.
It was really a move that kind of was orchestrated by Moham here on the Lulu, trying to help set him up for a kill, but actually backfires big time.
Well, they're actually going to fight this one, it looks like.
Looks like
considering it. I mean, they've got the Wukong coming in. Youngjae is going to get vision.
Karas is 6, and there's no karma here, but the Drake is doing so much damage, they're going to give up control.
Okay. Resets. Was very early, but Umpty has been able to get away with that before. Not meant to be this time.
It was a really good call. I mean, I think Kwangdong Freaks here, knowing the damage of the Drake and knowing those health bars just low enough, they can push them off there. And Breon not willing to make this a 50-50, where we could have a Zeri moment early on in the game, get that Zeri accelerated, decided to back away, because it was a risky call to contest, but I think it was just safe enough. You know, considering that Karas had his ult, of course, and had the choke point controlled, it could have backfired for Kwangdong, but they stopped the Drake, and Youngjae is actually going to get the scuttle control.
But,
however,
moreover, Umpty is getting the red buff, so he'll steal that away from Youngjae on spawn. And it's going to be pretty nice. He could even... I think he should be close enough to level 6 just based on that, but...
It's going to be, I think he's sitting at like 3/4.
Yeah.
Won't click on him for us, but that's okay. We can, I think, reasonably assume he's somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of level 6. Not quite there yet, though. It's going to take back timing. Won't be able to gank.
Probably say like 63.33 repeating, of course.
Yeah, like...
That would be my guess.
I like really wish they click on him now. It's like, comes it's like 5.05. I'm like, wow, we're like way off. I think we're right on this one, but...
Well, he did take the red buff at level 5, so it's probably around there.
This
Drake is now Kwangdong's.
Yeah, it's just going to belong to them, and the Herald is getting grouped up on right now. Umpty starts it off here, but this could be collapsed pretty easily. And he's doing it alone. Taeyun's heading over, has level 6. Timing of this pretty tight. It looks like Quantum Freak's not going to actually commit heavily. His control ward, very valuable here for Umpty. He's just going to get away with it.
Yeah. Just going to trade objectives once again. Nice hold here on the wave from Moham. Clapped for the hold. Maybe they clapped for the Rift Herald. That must have been it. Because if they clap for holding the wave, I mean, how far have we sunk? How far have we come?
Well, you know, there's like a graphic that comes up when objectives are taken, so I think it
was probably that.
It's kind of like the old like 60s TV show where like the guy holds the applause sign.
Yeah.
Everybody claps. That's kind of what our thing says. Okay.
Oh, here we go. No flash on Bulldog. Where have we seen this before against Nazir? This is a definite kill, and they're going to give it to Umpty. They definitely could have tried to orchestrate it so that Karis picks up the kill, but either way.
Yeah, there's not a big wave with this either. They're not going to go ahead and drop the Herald mid, so just going to be money for Umpty. Karis going to pick up some assist gold, of course. So we're going to jump back to this. Bulldog goes for Manfred Q and is just within scoop range here. Shuffle comes over. Umpty's here for the sleep. Frankly, with no flash here, I don't even think Umpty is required to get this kill, but we'll pick up the assist for, basically steal the kill and give the assist over to the Azir.
This is part of the reason why Azir never leaves the meta, because of that kill pressure. Such a great control mage. He has immense lane control. Once he farms, he scales really well. And he's basically a menace the entire game. He's got a game-changing ultimate. So as long as he's got this kit and his numbers aren't too bad, you will be seeing more Azir. So for you guys who are out there are like Resident Sleep or Azir again, well, I've got bad news for you.
Hey, well, there's no...
Going to be sticking around more.
There's no Corki right now.
Not yet.
I've seen Chobi playing it in solo queue, but I don't think it's meta. Okay, this is a nice bubble, but they can't make much of it.
That's a nice little calling. Tane gets over the wall. To have Young Jay nearby, so just in case enemy jungler was here, he could have counter ganked, but not meant to be. Not going to look to dive here.
I feel like we're golf commentators now.
I mean, essentially. You know, we definitely do pass based on the way the game is going.
Do you think...
Oftentimes.
I mean, it's so rare. I've never actually seen it in a pro golf game. I don't watch very often, but, like, do you think the commentators get, like, really hyped, like, league commentators when there's a hole-in-one? Like,
yeah, they do.
They just get, like, they, like, start yelling really loud. Or they just go, like, wow, quite nice. Single stroke.
No. I mean, I've seen a little bit. Might have to hold this thought. No, what am I thinking? Don't have to hold our thoughts in this one. Yeah, I've seen, you know, some highlights, and my dad used to watch it a bit in the past. Basically, if there's a big moment, it doesn't last a long time.
Big moment.
Either way, this is a big moment. It might last a while, as Effort is just going to tidal wave out. And Karis, he's got a lot of damage, but he does not commit to the divide. So decides, you know what, I don't want any more kills. Instead, we're just going to safely plant down the Rift Herald in mid lane.
Yep, and could try to maybe make something happen bottom side here, but Mom is in the way. So flash down for Effort here off of this play. They end up getting the Herald to crash through. And, you know, back to lull state here, but...
Yeah, so golf commentators, it's basically like a little bit short-lived. They'll be like, whoa, what an amazing shot. That was truly spectacular, something like that.
Okay.
And then, you know, that's about it.
All right. That was basically what you just did just there in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
That was truly a tidal wave disengage.
I just wish Karis pressed his ultimate, you know, even get the flash out for someone.
Okay, here we go.
Little gank here. We got Meganar into the wall. This should be pretty easy, but no, Morgan just flashes. And Dominus is, and he's waiting. Bulldog does not flash until too late. And now he might be in some trouble because he's going to get Dunkarooed. Is the damage there? No, it is not, as Moham comes in and saves him just a bit. Probably would have ticked down from the Lilia damage.
Still a huge win, though. Bulldog, both summoners now down here, also losing the Lulu heal, and nothing used outside of that ult combo here for Breon, so they could just group up for this Drake now. It spawns in 15. They have bot side prio. And, I mean, if you contest this as Kwangdong Freaks, you're just asking for trouble. You just don't have the setup to do it. And Frederick Brion can essentially do this on spawn. Look at all the vision they have. They have wards on every entry point to this. Control ward in River Brush and Tri Brush. There is no flank angle here, and they've got the damage too.
Yeah, I think Moham's just trying to get a little bit of vision around the area. Because generally after you get the Drake, you don't stick around too long, so it's a good opportunity for the support to go in and kind of say, hey, I'm going to take down your wards, take control of the river, etc. So they're not going to fight over that. Although Youngjae did go down there, maybe just helping out clear out some stuff with a little bit of scanner action.
Yep, and you can see the vision has almost just kind of been painted red right after that. So vision was set up for Bro, now cleared, but less useful vision.
Why is the river blue? I think that's a little bit biased. Don't you think?
I mean, water is just generally not red colored unless it's a red tide.
Generally.
Which you should stay away from.
What is, wait, a red tide?
Yeah, it's when
Is that a thing?
Yeah, like I think it's called red tide, where the algae gets really red colored and it means something dangerous that I don't remember, but I know it's
sharks,
like, not good.
Probably. That's what I learned from movies. Water's dangerous because of sharks.
Yeah, and also tides don't exist in rivers. Well, they do, but not significantly enough. No red tides in rivers. The moon's gravity still affects rivers, I guess. You know.
This is a moment where you get this clip and you show it to your mom. You're like, see, Mom, I'm studying.
Yeah.
I'm learning about rivers. It's earth science class. God.
By the way, I was going to mention right before you asked about the rivers, like this vision that they got wasn't, I was going to say it wasn't too impactful because the Drake isn't spawning, but it actually allowed Taeyun to farm freely here bottom side and is going to get a safe rotation up to this Herald. Now, Karas does have teleport, so is going to be able to stick around bottom side there and come in, but it makes his engages a little bit more telegraphed here, potentially. And so that vision that was helped cleared by Moham and Youngjae will end up being somewhat impactful here. Comes that TP from Morgan.
Yeah, a little bit less valuable if there's nothing happening in the game, but everybody's actually going to TP into this one, so here we go.
Party.
A little bit of a nothing happened until it did, as a couple of sleeps coming in. As you see, Bro is looking to press all the buttons and just move on forward. They get caught by the sleep. Everybody has to back, and a couple of guys get left out to dry. That is 2 kills now to the side of Frederick Brion. They don't quite get that objective, but it is still a big win.
Everything that we talked about that can kill the Zeri can also kill the Gnar or the Lulu, or potentially both. And there's just so many different engage options here. And when everybody's teleporting in like this, advantage goes to the champions that don't need time to build an R-bar, in this case. Plus, there isn't as much setup, unfortunately, for the Gnar to build that one up in the fight like this. So Taeyun barely gets out alive, but isn't able to do anything impactful in the fight. That's Rift Herald.
Watch Umpty.
Yeah. Umpty here, really well set up. Taeyun gets hit first, flashes in, sets up the double sleep. And then Dudu's here with nothing on his Gnar bar, is just chain CC'd, and there's no peel, there's no damage follow-up because they slept.
Yeah.
Taeyun just barely gets out alive, as I mentioned.
Also, Bulldog was top. So strong. They add that into the replay, and it's like, well, you also didn't have your Karma. So your entire mid laner is just not there. Yeah,
he was completely zoned out from the rest of the fight, so couldn't help out there. And going to push the wave as the fight went sour, I think, was definitely the right call. I think the context of that clip a little bit suspect in terms of that, because I think he was running up to the wave after it was doomed.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just completely cut off. His TP is expended on both sides, but Brion just has the easier comp to execute in these moments because of the Gnar bar equation and Umpty's amazing play with the double sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've talked about the Zeri comp a little bit, but, you know, it's essentially saying we're going to have 2 supports for the Zeri and just let her get 6 items and kind of carry us all. You know, we've got a lot of CC behind it with the Wukong and the Gnar, and that's kind of what we're going for. It's really one big damage threat, and generally that would be great, you know, just sit back, wait for 40 minutes, you win the game. But, bro, I mean, they have the Azir as well. I mean, the Azir and even the Lucian in the late game is going to be doing a huge amount of burst damage. And speaking of which, Moham going to have to flash just for 1 R button press from the Lucian.
If he hits more of that culling and then Gale forces in, you're done for. And Flashes doesn't heal, is that worried about it. And that's just another summoner down here for an already vulnerable support in this composition. The Gnar's frontline ability is conditional, and the Wukong's is as well in terms of when his ultimate can be used, where he's positioned. And there's just too many threats. And I think Kwangdong Freaks' comp can work, but it's just so complex. Whereas Fredit Brion's, or rather formerly Fredit Brion, their composition kind of works by default if you have a good angle. There's just so many ways for it to go right. Karis here, look at where he is on the flank. Umpty, if you try to collapse through this choke point, get hit by that ball, you are all going to get slept, and then the follow-up is your ult. Morgan's there watching the flank.
Yes, and Young Jae kind of left out here. Is he going to go? Oh, he's going to get slept here. And he has to flash onto the cone, and he might get away, but, I mean, that's basically everything used for just the sleep for Umpty. I mean, no big sleep to be used in this fight, at least, but now the jungler of KDF a little bit out of sorts.
Morgan, though, also in a fairly vulnerable spot, but could turn in an instant here, has flash ult available. Taeyun needs to be so careful. He's managing chipping away with this extendo beam, but also needs to make sure he doesn't get caught by any of that lethal CC. This is such a stressful fight for Kwangdong. They do not want to give this one up.
Yeah.
The flank from Morgan.
It is just the one Ocean Drake. They put themselves in not a great spot, and that is one scary Croc. He goes back into the back line immediately, just gets polymorphed and does nothing. The damage follow-up is not there. The Mega Gnar gets Umpty into the back line. He's doing a decent amount of damage, actually, but does go down in the end as Bulldog does a great job of kiting this one out as well. Finally, we see the Emperor's Divide here. A little bit late as, nope, not quite going to hit onto Henna.
Very close. Max damage in the fight goes to the Karma, actually. And that was really clean. From the side of Kwangdong Freaks, Dudu just barely survives there at the end of things. And it looks pretty doomed from the outset, except when you consider that Karis isn't in range to actually follow up on this. And then there's a set of knockups coming through from the Lulu Wild Growth and Young Jae's ultimate. And Dudu just barely gets out here. And that's that. Like, the fight is over. You're trying to now disengage as Karis. If Karis was closer, when that Renekton engage came through from Morgan, I think this fight could look different, but he's out of range for his Emperor's Divide. He isn't hitting any of that Leandri's damage. The turn and the focus fire, the target selection from Kwangdong in that fight was beautiful.
Yeah, very nicely done. They net themselves 2 kills and an Ocean Drake. It is, to be honest, not massive, but it definitely puts them on more even footing with Bro at this point in time. You get some assists for your Zeri and get her to scale up just a little bit faster. But to be honest, in this game, I think it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes.
I think it will. I think a lot of this meta right now is very solved in terms of what the drafts are looking like and what the win conditions are, but in terms of how to play it out, we're still figuring it out here in some of our east side teams. By the way, Brion, west side team at the moment. Ooh. Could be finishing this week with 2-0 start.
Could happen.
Bro? Hashtag bro memento?
Hashtag Chad?
Yes.
They're going to hit the gym after today.
We're going to hit the scrim. Okay, Dudu has his bar. Take this out.
Dominus available, though. So Dudu has flash. He might have to use it here, but it's follow flash, as this should be a solo. It is so incredibly close. As the hop was used, Morgan just needs one more dash to get in range. The mini Gnar, oh, he's just barely fast enough.
Just barely.
Oh.
Not over yet.
What?
Don't know about that flash, but look.
Should have let him live.
Just kind of speed through. Umpty commits the flash there to guarantee the kill. They want to take this turret down as soon as possible. And if you look at the Baron, the rest of the Freaks are kind of grouped up around there, so do want to make this a speedy play here. Morgan does have his teleport. I think Dudu just really misjudging his damage in this case because he has a cleaver and he thinks he can actually break through a Renekton that's sitting on 1.5 items here, even with that extra armor. But with Dominus there and the ult, you're not going to win those, unfortunately, especially because he has to spend time hitting the turret. So gets stunned up here, takes the turret shot, has to hit the turret again. And Morgan's just stacking up the damage. Ults here, and also that misses too.
Yeah, he dodges both of those really nicely, does Morgan.
And then Umpty comes over and ruins the fun. We also see the Nami rotation over too. Efforts making sure this is guaranteed. So this flash, not 100% necessary, but sped it up.
Yeah, I mean, the way this game has been going, maybe Umpty assumes he'll have flashback for the next fight. He doesn't need it for a while.
Oh man, you just spoke the truest truth. You just said it exactly the right words. Oh. I don't think it'll be true exactly, but it feels like it's true. Something else that's true is it's Jack Show.
Yeah.
For Umpty on this Lilia. So very difficult to kill. Tank Lilia with some burn damage here. Set up for the sleep, and very difficult to kill her when you only have, like, a lot of the times killing Lilia is how you stop her from sleeping your team, is you just turn on her and focus her.
Here we go. Just kidding.
Here we go.
Just kidding.
There goes the calling. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, continue.
But, you know, if you're trying to focus down the Lilia, you know, where's Taeyun's damage going? There's just so many threats, like I said before. I actually really like this build. It seems silly when you consider how squishy Lilia is as a champion, kind of, but with this build, it's really smart. And it's actually just pretty sick overall. Big brain,
Sick.
Giga Chad build.
Yeah, would agree. As you see, Bro are trying to move up mid. This Drake about to spawn again. These are singular Ocean Drakes. They're not the biggest deal, but a decent amount of downtime in these games, so maybe just using that to heal up a little bit with the Ocean. Want to try to deny Soul Point, does Bro. A little bit of
Gotta
a
stay split, and the angle here for Youngjae, unseen. He could flank here, but it's gonna take a little bit of time.
Oh, Hannah. No, he sat on top of it, and now he is going to be pushed away. Is Youngjae, has to flash, does Taeyun. So not the cleanest engage they were looking for, but that was pretty close.
Taeyun so close to death here.
A lot of damage on into Lilia, gonna set up the sleep onto the Karma as in goes Umpty for extra damage. He's leading the charge as finally he is tanky. He's got Morgan right next to him due to a little bit scary on the back foot, but this looks like Bro's Dragon.
Close to Narbar here is Dudu. Taeyun's still alive.
And trying to get on in there and re-engage. The Wukong not able to get in range. The dominance popped here now for Morgan, and Taeyun goes down trying to desperately get the kill onto the Azir. That does not work out. And now it's a bit of a rout as they were looking for a little bit more. Morgan gonna pick up the third kill here for Bro as they set their eyes on mid and Baron.
Looks like they're gonna be able to take it pretty easily too. It's a 2-for-2 Drake split now, but that fight looked so incredibly dangerous for Kwangdong Freaks the whole way through. As Dudu has no Narbar, he's trying to flank. Youngjae comes in, is instantly collapsed on and punished, has to get out. And then Taeyun dodges one bowling ball from Umpty that almost hits him. If he gets hit by that, he gets slept and the fight is over instantly. But he still doesn't have enough space to actually win it. Dudu tries to turn things around with an Narbar. There's just too much damage. And Youngjae's flank here was a cool idea, but just like many fights in this series, the follow-up damage isn't there. Taeyun skating left here is under so many threats, again, and he's not with his support. You know, it's Youngjae who has to get wild growth. It's a very awkward fight. Rather, Taeyun gets the wild growth here awkwardly, and the sleep doesn't hit Taeyun, which is super lucky for him, but it's still not enough. And by the time Dudu comes back into this, it's just kind of too late, and it's very, very scary here until Karis makes the play.
And they're forcing this for the singular Ocean Drake, or the idea that they can win this fight, and even after zoning away Hannah, it didn't matter.
Umpty's just doing so much, and he's at full health because of this build he's chosen. It's just so unkillable. This is a weird game, Valdez. that whole fight was on the knife's edge of a knife's edge.
Yeah.
But Bro walk away victors here.
It's like one of those knives the sushi chefs use, you know?
Yeah. I guess.
I don't know what it's called. Probably a sushi chef knife. That would be my first guess.
I was about to start his pyramid scheme on the cast right now. Like, you buy 20 of these, sell them for a higher price.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay,
Right.
Karis has his ult. And there's a really good siege in this comp. I mean, look at where Hannah can be. He could obviously be pushing mid solo, but he could also rotate over and punish with Gale Force Rapid Fire Cannon and just pop somebody like a balloon.
Yeah, the side lane, you see that Dudu's down 2 levels, and he doesn't really know, cause they don't have control of the mid lane, so he doesn't know if he's getting rotated on, which, bad news for him, he is, but he is in Mega Gnar, so I don't think Bro are going to overcommit to this. So actually, he will be just fine.
Umpty said Tank Lilia's back. He just said it, man. Dead Man's Plate next.
He did just say that. I think I heard him say
Yeah.
that on the stage, yeah.
I mean, if that's what it's going to take for some variety in my LCK draft. Umpty's my new favorite player right now.
Especially for these teams. Okay, here we go. Tidal Wave comes through, just a zoning tool. They already had Baron, so feels a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah, but it just helps guarantee this. I think it's okay. You know, unnecessary, but
A
it's
solid 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's no objective coming up for the next 90 seconds, so he won't be punished for this. I think the observers and the Korean commentators talking about it because they did highlight his back there very briefly. As they will get the empowered recalls with the last part of this Baron buff, but no inhibitors broken open. We're not even on Soul Fight just yet, Valdez. The game continues, as we will see Zeri significantly behind in terms of item value right now. He's got a lot of tanks to break through, so changing up the item actually as well, not going for IE third.
They have almost the exact same amounts earned, actually, which is funny. It's probably just a bit of, you know, objective gold and all that stuff, and the assist for the Lucian, and the slight CS lead for the Zeri.
Yeah.
Either way,
Just picks up LDR.
basically even.
Trying to kill Umpty right now, but also trying to kill Lucian and Azir. There's only one real damage dealer on this fight, which is why they need Dudu so badly to have that big combo so they can just do essentially so much with the follow-up from the Wukong. Like, we've seen a lot of these Gnar Wukong games where it's like, wait, we got the Zeri, she's hard to kill, but how much damage could she do alone? She needs a lot of space, and that combo needs to be good for Kwangdong to succeed here. 8,000 gold down, it's still winnable, but no map control here whatsoever. Umpty 2 levels ahead. Well, as I say, it becomes 1 level ahead, but for that brief moment when it was shown 2 levels ahead.
Similar in the top and jungle, though, and that will matter. As in goes Umpty, he's like, nah, I'm not okay with that. Still full health. He's got a lot more chances to go in and sweep up.
With his dead mans, he could just look for another one.
Yeah. And Karst has got a great angle here. Not sure if they know exactly where he is. Looks like they have identified that the Azir is, in fact, in the brush. As the stun comes in onto Youngjae's clone. And Dudu's in mid with Mega Gnar. Wait.
Positional error! Positional error, Valdez!
Okay, wait. What? Okay, Bulldog's just dead. And he TPs! Oh no! He's gonna TP into this! I mean, definitely a Chad maneuver, but I wouldn't have recommended that myself, as now the Wild Growth's going to come through, and the position of Kwangdong Freaks has totally gone to smithereens. I mean, this was not it for them, and Bro,
That might just be the end of it.
they identified it. They're like, wait, really? Okay, we'll just kill you.
Because now, I mean, the Taeyeon's going to try to get this bounty goal. It's going to cost a TP to defend here. Just barely gets the TP off, but the turret does go down. That's a weird interaction there, as Bro are going to grab this Soul point. It's not Soul. They don't have Baron, but it's so much money. Again, into the pockets here of Breon, and so much tempo that can't be regained easily here. As Bulldog, maybe he's trying to Mantra Q to check for Karst in that tri-brush, but then decides to go for shield, and then walks left again?
And if they just tab to mid, they're like, oh, he's just about to go out of Mega Gnar, even if the TPs were fine. He's also not here.
This was very bizarre, and like he walked left twice there, and I don't have answers for you guys on this one, but it's look, he's a rookie,
Yes.
right? And sometimes you make the wrong call, sometimes you make a wrong move, a misplay, and it costs you big. I mean, he's had 2 amazing back-to-back games, and honestly, I think his laning in this game and what he's done for Taeyeon individually is not his fault. That particular error, you know, we can criticize him for, but it's been a good series for him overall, but that one stings for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely a bit of a team issue, you know, like an overall positioning, like not playing together, the communication to not have all 5, you know, to get caught, right, if you're going to back away, as you mentioned, back away with the team, use your Master Shield, you're inspired to just give everybody a speed boost so you can maybe run away. But just don't get yourself in that position in the first place, you know, stuff like this. Not really, again, I mean, they're really fighting, actually, for every singular Drake, so definitely didn't necessarily need to do that, especially when you have a Zeri that doesn't have IE.
Yeah.
I would say absolutely just give up the Ocean Drake. It's fine.
And like, they didn't lose any inhibitors or anything like that, but we talked about the Baron spawning here, and notice how little Kwangdong can see here.
Well, Youngjae is about to see a little bit of a dream, I suppose, as he's left alone and slept. This huge amount of damage now coming out from Henna. He's looking for the kill, forces Wild Growth, and barely had to use much at all to get that to happen.
Now they have so many turn ultimates between the Tidal Wave and the Emperor's Divide here, with so little left in the tank here for Kwangdong Freaks and Dudu's Narbar fading away. It's just really easy to just turn on the Baron here. There's no vision whatsoever here. You know, outside of the ward, outside of the control ward there, in the brush, but it is in the pit.
In the pit, and Taeyun, again, no need to force things when your Zeri's not ready, right? And this is a little bit of it as well. They're trying to get vision on the Baron, and it kind of just goes awry. I don't believe there was a kill in this fight, but it gets the flash out of the big Kong. It gets Dudu to get Wild Growth and to go into Mega Gnar as well, so it's just across the board not great, but it looks like Zeri's got IE, so that's one big win for KDF.
Remnants of coffee get into my throat there for a second. It's definitely not the gameplay that's
coffee grinds.
Yeah, the coffee grinds.
That's how you develop your caster voice, with whiskey and coffee grinds.
Not whiskey today, but
no.
We'll see what happens after this series. All right, so Kwangdong Freaks have very little in the tank here to defend this, but the game isn't over till it's over, right? And Frederick Breon are playing this as seatbelty as you could, not splitting into 3, just doing a 1-4. And the wave clear with this Karma is enough, but they can't fight. They just have to sit back and clear waves. 95 seconds on this, Dudu trying to challenge in the side.
Well, he's going to hit Mega Gnar again, and he's not going to be in position to fight this. So it does look like Kwangdong Freaks in this position, you may just have to give up this inhibitor in this position, because again, one of your big engage tools is not in the fight. And they're doing a decent job of holding on to the inhibitor for now. You know, they're clearing the waves, and it doesn't look like Bro want to fully engage just yet. They want to wait for this next cannon wave to come in.
There's a stopwatch here for Morgan. He can engage very deep and pull some of those summoners, and then you see Umti follow up. Umti he doesn't have his flash, but he has obviously a ton of movement speed with this Dead Man's Plate, and Taeyun having flash is really critical for his survival here, which is, I think, part of why Bro are playing this so slow. If they could try to assassinate this area, they would absolutely go for it. He has IE now, too.
Yeah. That's going to be rough. They don't know exactly where he is until he shows up right behind that turret. Has a bit of damage onto Karis. Relatively healthy himself with the Shadow Flames, got the Leandries, and I mean,
he's
stopwatch.
He's got 4 items in the stopwatch. He's taking a lead over Henna. And I mean, we're going to, by the way, a potential Bro game with all 7 Drakes. I have seen this many times before. Dudu's Narbar has expired here. Does have TP and is going to use it. They need to go fast. They need to act quick if they're going to stop this Drake from going down.
He's going to be very reliant on Youngjae here as the Cyclone is out. He is in the pit, but he is just getting chunked and pushed out of the pit. They get on top of Taeyun as well, but he's able to kite it back. Taeyun's still alive. He's got that support as Bulldog and Mohawk are just burning around him, desperately trying to keep Taeyun alive, but it was not meant to be in the end as Bro, it looks like they have finally broken this game down. 13-3, 37 minutes, no 7 Drakes, but 6 Drakes, good enough for them.
No Elder flips, none of that. Just going to be solid gameplay around the Drake. The objective, this draft was pretty unique from Bro. I mean, obviously outside of the first phase of the draft, but it worked out so beautifully. Umti brings back one of his old favorites, the tank Lilia.
And unfortunately, Taeyun can't avoid everything.
Oh, there's Mega Power.
Yeah.
I was wondering. And again, this isn't all on Dudu. I think it's more of a team coordination kind of thing. So before you let those fingers fly, think a little bit. As yes, we are going to have the game ends here. Bro will be taking down the Nexus here in Game 3. 38 minutes in true Breon fashion. They get the job done.
I love how every win for Breon 2 feels like a pop-off. You know, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Doesn't matter how tough the series was. Umpty stands up like he's won. He's just earned playoffs again, and he's high-fiving his teammates.
Hell
And
yeah.
I just love that kind of energy that this team brings. And creativity we did see from Breon in the draft here. We also saw them flex, you know, some different bands in the second phase going into, you know, that second game. I think both of these teams were tested in several aspects of play. The macro, the setup on these objectives, right? The Barons, the Drakes. Well, we also got to see Bulldog flex his lane prowess. You know, he wasn't able to close the game out, did a ton of damage this game. But, you know, some small errors in team coordination in that side lane. And it was a game, as you said rightfully, it was going to be decided by who makes the fewest mistakes. And when you have this many ways to catch the only real consistent damage on the side of Kwangdong Freaks, those mistakes were just going to happen. They were going to get forced. They were forced errors.
Oh.
Ooh.
He's like, no, but actually I need it. Yeah, getting in there. Love to see it.
Show and prove, Hannah. He has played nothing but Lucian. And so far, looking pretty decent.
Yeah. You know, some small things here and there, but who doesn't have small things here and there?